Well, songs, good songs, spiritual songs of some sort, that have some most helpful truth or simply some most helpful statement as you find it to be, can be of great value to us. They help us speak out against what the mind would otherwise preoccupy itself with in depression and sadness and regret and pity-partying and so forth. And we cut across it. The modern song especially repeats itself again and again. You know, it has a line like, to worship you I live, to worship you I live to worship you, you know. I mean, my soul longs for you, my soul longs for you. Nothing else will do, nothing else will do. You see, it's as if you speak against the thought that would otherwise occupy your mind. You bring light into the darkness. It's the Eastern way of mantra, really. I mean, a Christian wouldn't like to own such recognition, but it's what the mantra is about. It's something, some quality of God, some aspect of life eternal in the case of Christian understanding of things, some assurance, some word of scripture typically, or something close to it, or in harmony with, an affinity with, and you repeat it again and again, and again and again. And any time, you know, I mean, it's like my, I say my, but you know, the one I push mostly. He's an all-powerful God and he loves us. Therefore, I can thank him for this situation, both the good and the bad as I see it. Because I'm a child, I see it as good and bad. But he sees it as right and appropriate. And I'm running with that. Because I love him and trust him accordingly. You see, from my experience, and in doing so, I might point out, in thanking God in as many situations as I can, I find it most profitable, most beneficial. And this strengthens my resolve to continue to do such. Obviously, it would, wouldn't it? Yeah, I mean, try it, taste and see. See if you're blessed by strings of miracles. Life eternal, life more abundantly, fullness of life. And as I've said, thankfulness brings gratitude. Just to say thank you starts to focus in an imaginary, you might say, or a supposed God point of view on the situation, instead of one's narrow ignorance point of view. A trust that God has it in hand and has it right, not just coping with difficulties. He's not coping with difficulties. He's doing what is right and rules all things. There are no difficulties with God in that sense, especially relative to us. I don't know if God has other difficulties. Our heart goes out to him if he does. And we would love to be with him in being part of his solution to such difficulties. And we are, of course, because he's chosen to make his joy in us. We are therefore, in consequence, part of his solution, his benefit. And that's lovely, isn't it? To know that we are a joy to him, and of course to each other too. Is just the loveliness of loveliness. Thank you, Dad. and it's given to us. So whatsoever is good and lovely, think on these things. You will automatically think to thank God accordingly, and you'll be filled with gratitude and hope and blessing and peace and joy. Life, abundant life, life eternal. Transcendence. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.